If you thought it couldn't get worse than healthcare.gov, well, think again. One Oregon lawmaker says his state's online exchange is worse, much worse. It is January 14, and do you know that Oregon's online enrollment system is still not working? And Republican state representative and gubernatorial candidate Dennis Richardson wants to shut it down completely. He joins us. Nice to see you, sir.
It's good to be here.
How could this not be working by now? Couldn't you borrow someone else's software from another state and just plug in Oregon where it says, like, Maine?
That's a great idea. Something needs to be done. Oregon's software has not worked. I mean, we have over $260 million invested in some part in Cover Oregon, and yet with failed leadership, the no willingness to accept the fact that we weren't ready, we launched and we still have not enrolled a single person with our online Cover Oregon exchange.
So what is everybody in Oregon doing? I take it they're not going online to get health insurance. What are they doing? Making phone calls or doing it by paperwork? What's happening?
Exactly. They're taking their number 2 pencils, they're sharpening them up, they get written applications and they're filling them out one by one and sending them in just like they would have done 50 years ago. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous.
Oregon is a state that's very supportive of the Democratic Party and of Obamacare. I'm curious, are some of the Democrats, are they getting a little sour on the state exchange, or are they still willing to, stand behind it?
It's amazing. It's throwing good money after bad, because even with additional work and 2 months behind us, they still don't have any idea when this is going to be functional. And yet the Democrats are absolutely silent. I mean, the silence is deafening.
Well, it's interesting. Your governor has now hired a company, spent $228,000 to investigate why it doesn't work. Maybe I'll spend $228,000 finding another company to make it work instead of investigating.
You're right. I mean, it's a failure of leadership and vision, because we had a quality assurance team that has been tracking this project from the very beginning, and every month they said this is not going to work, it's red, it's not going to launch, and yet it was ignored. And so now the governor, instead of taking responsibility and saying we're going to change things, what he does is says, well, let's spend another $250,000 and find out why it didn't work. Just read the reports, Governor, and you'd find out why it didn't work.
It's so interesting. We're watching a cartoon, one of the sort of an effort to get people in Oregon to get on the state exchange. I assume the state paid for that one, right?
Absolutely. There's been between $10 and $25 million that's been spent advertising a failed program.
What are the newspaper editorials saying? Are they clobbering the state exchange, saying what in the world is going on? It's January 14th and not working?
Well, some of them are starting to get on, they're starting to pick this up, because we have people that want to have insurance, and yet they still go to the exchange online and they find information, but they can't sign up. They have to make copies, they have to do it by hand or call in and talk to somebody over the telephone. There's a couple of the TV stations that are now picking this up and wanting accountability. Governor, why has this happened? Why weren't you, involved in this, especially when it comes out that the quality assurance team had found out and had been warning all along that this was going to be a failed attempt?
Well, anyway, we'll be watching to see if Oregon gets its state exchange up and running, but the clock is running. Anyway, Representative, thank you, sir.
You bet.